like to call the meeting to order for the Parks and Rec on July 12th, 2023. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mary Champagne,
Here.
Dave Tuttle, Leonard Jones, here. Bruce Clayton,
Here.
And Leonard, could you lead us in the pledge, please?
I can do that. It's right behind you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get an approval of tonight's agenda, please?
You do this one. Thank you. Approval.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Did everyone have a chance to read the minutes from the March 8th meeting?
Yes.
Can I get an approval, please?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting.
I second that.
Thank you. And we're up to staff reports.
Scott Bell, Recreational Services Director, reporting. Okay, a couple of notes, staff notes. Seat D is vacant again. Catherine Cottle has joined the Planning Commission, so that seat is back open. I did have one gentleman come to my office inquiring, but he is out of city Wasilla limits, because I think we have one seat for that, and that's you. Yes, sir. And so we let him know today that the seat needs to be within the city limits. So I believe the mayor is putting out through her mayor's minutes, which is the radio, and I think it's on the website too. So we are in search for seat D to be refilled. The recreational services budget FY 2024 has been approved by the city council, and I'll go ahead and give you guys a copy of that. Hold on.
Thank you.
So this is kind of our copy, my internal copy of all the line items, the different amounts that were put to each of those line items. The only real significant change, we added some of the, on the printing, we increased our printing for the Parks Passport, which I'll kind of review later, so that we would have money to print nice versions of that. And then in the recreational programs 5097, we have removed the fireworks show. After kind of a review of the history of the fireworks show, the significant increased cost in the fireworks, the ability to see the fireworks, and our history the last few years of the fire danger. So we kind of had made a decision to kind of move past that. We did put in some money for the Park Passport, and there is, let's see, one other line item. And a lot of the New Year's Eve fireworks show has gone up in cost, because that is kind of our big one. Because what we did last year was that the fireworks show for the 4th of July did not go forward. So those fireworks were purchased by the time we determined that we weren't going to go forward. So we were able to bring all those fireworks to the New Year's with the normal New Year's and have what we thought was a spectacular New Year's Eve fireworks show. So we've increased the budget to accommodate the cost of fireworks, but also to kind of maintain that level of show. So that was a big part of that line item there. And then a lot of the other stuff has pretty much been within range as it has been historically. So do you have any questions on the budget at all?
Scott, I had a question. Is there any funds in the budget for the Parks and Rec Commission to hold events, if such things come up like they used to in the past?
Basically, with yes and no. So when through the budget process, we come up with the events and activities as shown in 5097 that we anticipate. But if something doesn't occur, then we can make something happen there. And so if the commission is looking for an event that they want, then I can look at how we've spent money, and if there's things that we may do, we may not do, that we can support that. So it's possible, yes.
Thank you.
Real quick, I just had a question. How does it work if there's a revision to the budget after this point? If you don't mind just kind of explaining it a little bit.
So basically, what I put before you is kind of actually the first revision.
Okay.
So the way the budget cycle works, and I'm not a budget expert for the city, but we put forth an FY 2023 and a 2024 at the same time. We did that a year plus ago. Then we go into the budget cycle, and we, as we just went through right now, then that's when I've submitted revisions to what was done a year and a half, 2 years before this fiscal year would come forward. So we made adjustments based on programming decisions, different ideas and things that we had going on. So this is your first revision, basically already has occurred.
Gotcha.
If there is something that comes up, then depending on, again, we can adjust budget money within the line items here. We can't take money from the city general fund, the Menard Center fund. So if we don't say use, and kind of going to Mary, if we don't buy certain supplies, like we use some of these to buy canopies for the picnic and different things. So if we don't do that and there's $500 there, if we have something that needs support, we can actually adjust the line item so we can do that. If there's a proposal or a project that is above the budget, then I would take that to council directly and get separate approval to add that.
Gotcha. Thank you for that explanation. I really appreciate it.
Any other questions? Okay. Continuing staff notes, just an FYI, July 23rd will be the first day of ice back at the Menard Center, so we'll be operating ice and hockey and all our fun stuff. Review of our past events, we had cleanup days in May. I know we missed our May meeting, so this is kind of going back a little bit. We did end up with over 6 tons of trash that was picked up and deposited into the dumpsters. We did have a really difficult time trying to get the dumpster staffed and covered through volunteers. We eventually did. Tammy and I have reviewed kind of the cleanup days as a whole of possibly condensing the number of days that the dumpster, because like we start it on a Monday and it goes through the Saturday, but I think we had 1 or 2 people show up on the Monday and 1 or 2 on the Tuesday. So to consolidate the drop-off times, possibly considering locations, getting a company to kind of sponsor cleanup days as a whole, and then perhaps their company can staff it, get the prizes, and we're looking at try to just make it a little bit easier, because it's pretty challenging when, I think on the Saturday, we had a very nice volunteer lady, a little bit older, that just, you know, was a little intimidated by some people that we think were cleaning out their front yard, not the intended purpose, but didn't feel comfortable saying no. So there's things like that that kind of occurred this year that we want to just think forward how to do this where it's really the intent, the roadside trash, making the city look better. And because the dumpster is donated, the landfill takes it for free, the borough provides us all the trash bags, so there's a lot of community support for this, but we want to make sure we're doing it right. So we're going to keep looking at that a little bit. We did have prizes for that, and Alaska Railroad has always been extraordinarily generous, and they gave us 2 sets of tickets. So There was 2 tickets for Alaska Railroad, which was a trip, I think, Anchorage to Seward. And 1 set of those went to people that volunteered that went into a drawing. And then the other was people that if they were out picking up trash and they posted it on social media, they got put into the drawing. So we had a couple of 8 families that ended up winning those. So it pays to volunteer and help stuff. Music in the Park, this year we moved it to Saturdays in June, and we found that actually was extremely successful. We were able to get better bands because of the Friday night was just real difficult competing with Palmer Friday night stuff that they had going on. The turnout was great. I think they grew. So a lot of this is Music in the Park is through Make a Scene. And so they promote the event. They give a lot of the vendors, the food trucks, the beer garden people kind of advertising in exchange. So it really worked out really well, and we had great feedback, and hopefully everyone got a chance to check that out. Then we had our 4th of July Mayor's Picnic, which was our biggest, our best, and craziest ever. We purchased and served over approximately 3,500 hot dogs, and our attendance, I'm sure, was well over that. We're having discussions on how we can expand that event and also merge. We do the Music in the Park finale for 4th of July evening or afternoon. So this year what they did is they started it at noon, the picnic went till 3. They had some, DJ music and things. Once the picnic was done, we drove a lot of people down straight to there, and they had great turnout, and then they did bands from 3 to 9 o'clock at night. So they got a really great draft off the wonderful attendance. But what we're looking at is expanding possibly the picnic window of time, bring the Music in the Park finale down by the picnic, expand to some areas, and we're working on some stuff so that it actually kind of becomes a larger event where we bring the beer garden, we bring the food vendors, and so the Mayor's Picnic will always be free, and then in an adjoining area, you can enjoy all the Music in the Park fun. So that's kind of the idea that we're working right now. Let's see, and then again, no fireworks for the 4th of July, and it's not been budgeted for the future. Upcoming events, we do have at the Menard Center, the Learn to Skate classes will begin in August for the fall session, and we'll have Saturdays, Wednesday evenings, and Tuesday, Thursday morning classes. And recently through City Council, the Arctic Winter Games will be here March 2024, and the city is now a sponsor of the games. And right now, the opening ceremonies, the closing ceremonies will be at the Menard Sports Center, and then we will be hosting girls hockey, boys championship hockey, and the Dene Games. So the Menard Center and the city of Wasilla is going to be a huge focal point for this event. And if you're not aware, the Arctic Winter Games will have, I believe, 7 different countries represented with over 2,000 athletes coming to town. I think there's about 300 in Alaska. So it should be a pretty big event. So we're kind of ramping up with that and working with Arctic Winter Games. I believe that is my report, and we have some other items that will be on the agenda later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
They call your name for the next report.
So we're on to unfinished business.
Actually, you have one more staff report.
Oh, sorry.
So anyway, I'm Jess, the Parks and Property Supervisor. Since our last meeting, we went through all of our park bathrooms, fixed all the roofing issues. Upgraded and painted the Nunley Park. It's got new toilets, new everything, inside and out. The Newcomb Park bathroom has also been done inside and out. So if you go in and out of those, you will see a much cleaner and functional bathroom systems. And then also with that, we just finished restaining everything in Wonderland Park, repainting the roofs and some of the different items in there. It really spruced it up. We had a test done on it, and we have about 5 more years with that park until we actually are probably going to start looking towards actually having to replace all the items in it. And then also with the parade and everything, that went off really well. We had no major issues or anything. We built the float, that was fun, and so let's see what else we've been doing here. We're working on the pickleball court, trying to get it fenced, and we're gonna cut it. And when it was originally put in as an ice rink, it was oblong, so we're gonna have to go and square it up and make it look the way it should. And so that's what we're working on with that. So we got lots of projects that are in motion. And then just to close it out at the bow range, we're leveling off all the dirt that was stacked due to winter last year, just trying to get the actual cut out of the layout. And now we're just leveling it off and getting it set up, as well as still working on the parking lot. I think that concludes that for the most part.
Thank you, and I want to say that the lawn at Idea Park looks great all summer long.
Yeah, they've been doing a great job. Our lawn staff this year is amazing, so we've had a lot of amazing help. All of our temps have been, I can't think of a better year for it, so I'm very pleased with that. And all the flowers around town, we've went through a new person, and they've been, if you look around, they're amazing as well, and we're hearing a lot of good feedback on it.
Real quick, I just wanted to say again, park maintenance this year has been incredible. Not only the staining, but the pickleball. We've seen more changes this year than we have in the last 3. So pretty amazing. Thanks again, maintenance. We really appreciate it.
The last thing I forgot, we also installed soccer nets up at IDITA, and we're actually starting to see some use, more of it there than we ever did out at the Lake Lucille campground. There's still one out there, but we moved one of them into town to get the inner city kids to where they could actually get to it and use it.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so unfinished business.
Looks like we're talking a park passport.
Did anyone want to enter into committee of the whole?
I'll make a motion to move as a committee as a whole.
I second that.
Do I have a second?
Go ahead. What? I second it.
Thank you. Okay. So, on the Parks Passport, where we left off was, I do believe, SDG was looking at renewing them.
Yeah, so basically, the park passport, the intention was to have SDG Sustainable Design Group to go ahead and start developing our park passport kind of to the level that we were hoping for. To get that completed, at that time, there wasn't any money budgeted for the full, because it was a $5,000 proposal to do, I believe, 3 or 4 of the parks, Tammy, is our recollection. So it wasn't budgeted, and then we got to the point for staffing, the ability to even produce the generic one that we had. We just couldn't do it in time when our goal was to have it before school let out, and we missed that deadline just out of sheer volume of work and the inability to complete that in a reasonable manner into the standard that we were looking for. So the park passport budget has been approved. We're getting in contact with SDG so that they can start design. We're not under the time pressure. We have the budget to print it so that we will be ahead of it next year, and that is our plan right now.
think the park passport was going to take a little bit of time just because we've been in the planning phase for quite a while. So it's nice to see the financial side caught up to provide for that project to kind of get it to that next level that we've been wanting it, instead of just kind of some paper. I think this is really going to get it to that next level for the next year to be such a good project. So very exciting.
Well, and once the framework is put together, that it's not very difficult to do minor changes for the future. I kind of went back through some previous notes of talking about whether to get it printed or not. I mean, I can see an advantage to both, but I think it means more to actually have something that's printed that can be held in someone's hand versus looked up on their phone or their tablet. But I'd like to see it move forward, and and it would be nice to have it ready to go even before school let out, even by spring break or something, to where if there's a hiccup along the way, at least there's a little buffer time in the time frame.
And that's really where we're at, is that we're starting now for then, so that way, because just so many things stack up, and it's March, April, and we're trying to get any design, any print or anything in time to get to school, and then just with what we have to do. So we're going to do it right. We're going to do it in advance, make sure you guys have lots of input and opportunity to assist in this project and have the project that we want. So as you had said, I agree that the print side of it is key, and in the schools is key. And the other stuff, again, we can keep developing and expand it, but foundationally, I agree with what you're saying.
Thank you. Any other input on the Parks Passport?
I'll just concur with the hard copy. I think that would be very beneficial for the students. And if you could have it at the beginning of the year, it would be even better. But, that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
So, Reese, do you have any information on the skateboard park?
So my update for today is we've been in talks with Spoon Ranch again, just kind of getting an update and everything. And same thing, Spoon Ranch, let's see if I actually wrote anything that's kind of really fun. They're just kind of getting our finalization of our blueprint so that they can send us an updated copy. Just so much has changed since we talked to them. I think it's actually back in 2019 originally when I talked to them. So it's been quite a couple years now, but yeah, just trying to get a good update. Hoping to present something to you guys here at our next meeting that's going to be kind of this is our new updated, finalized, that type of thing. One of the things that I do have noted here, though, is looking forward to the skateboard project. I do think the city of Wasilla is definitely going to have to get a lot of involvement, kind of like we're talking about bathrooms and lights and stuff like that. For this type of project to succeed, it definitely takes a lot of not only the skate park, but the infrastructure around the skate park and everything. So I'm happy it slowed down because there's a lot of things that have to be kind of thought about to get it right. And one of the big things that I've gotten a lot of feedback on is just the lack of infrastructure over on that side right now. A lot of people kind of want there to be infrastructure if we do improve the skate park too. So that is definitely a big consideration that I've been taking to make sure that we do, is making sure the infrastructure is there as well. So to answer your question, I don't really have a big update per se, but we are kind of getting that finalization of having those details so I can come to you guys again and say, hey, this is our new updated plan and these are some recommendations from Spoon Ranch as well. So.
Thank you. I'm definitely seeing a lot of activity at the skateboard park, and so it's kind of nice to see it kind of reemerge.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of younger people that I see there, and it stays busy until late at night. So it's just good to see that it's still flowing.
Oh yeah. Real quick, I just kind of want to take a second to, speaking of the skateboard park and stuff, we have a resident in our community right now that I just wanted to take a second to bring to your attention. He has an opportunity actually to meet Tony Hawk, which is really cool. His name's Aaron Hogan, and he's a well-known member of our community. He's been in the skateboard world for many years, and he's currently engaged on a national competition to meet Tony Hawk, and he's aiming for the chance to maybe even score a $10,000 grant. Tony Hawk's an icon in the skateboarding world, establishing the skateboard project in 2002. This project is dedicated to developing safe and inclusive public skateboard parks for youth and underserved communities. This competition is in conjunction with a noble mission that Tony Hawk's Skateboard Park Hero Project is always about, and Aaron has made it a point that he wants to help low-income families and people with a similar background as his. So I do think it's really important that we try to give him our support. Aaron Hogan is a testament to the tremendous power of skateboarding. For 25 of his 32 years that he's been alive, Aaron has honed the skills and passion for skateboarding in our very own Wasilla Skateboard Park, which was built when he was a young kid. Aaron's passion for skateboarding is not only a sport, but it's also a life-saving form of self-expression, transforming the world around him and connecting with diverse individuals. When he's faced tough times during his formative years, the skate park became a sanctuary. So yeah, I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention that, yeah, we do have a younger adult in our community that is at a national level right now representing Wasilla, and he's almost there. He's currently in the semifinals, and actually here in about 8 hours it's going to finish, and he was in second place last time I looked. So pretty exciting to see again someone who benefited from our skate park and now is at that national level saying, hey, Tony Hawk, it's time for you to come and kind of give us something better type of thing for you. So
Thank you.
A couple questions real quick.
So just trying to verify, originally it was the Friends of Wasilla Park and Recreation Group, right?
that's correct.
Was that an actual nonprofit, LLC?
It was.
or-
So it was a nonprofit organization, yep.
Okay.
And then we dissolved here last year. Rough idea.
And then, is everything originally through pledges, or have you actually raised money?
Through pledges.
Okay, so there's been no money
funds raised, yeah.
So anything, Ollie North was really gonna just kind of be, again, a organizational body support for the big picture, right?
Correct. Yep, that's
Okay.
correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other comments while we're still in the committee of the whole?
All right, I do have one more comment. Hello, everyone. I just wanted to take a moment to pay tribute to a remarkable individual in our community. Joan Elizabeth Matthews, affectionately known to many as Grammy, was a dynamo, true force of nature who always responded to challenge with determination and tenacity, right up until her last day. She was a cherished mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother who imparted her love for diverse cultures and influences on her family. After her retirement, Joan's tireless spirit truly was passionate, and she dedicated herself to the Alaska Special Olympics, working as a personal care attendant to many of those in the Mat-Su Valley. She was a steward member of numerous veterans organizations, always ready to lend a hand for a worthy cause. We lost Joan back on May 12, 2023, and although we mourn her passing, I'd also like to celebrate her extraordinary life and the profound impact she made on all those who she was known for. Joan was kind of one of a kind, a beacon of resilience and a community spirit. Her love and dedication for this community were undeniable, and we'll forever remember her and her inspiring legacy. Let us honor her by carrying her spirit of service, resilience, and community forward. Thank you for all the great memories I had with you. You will be deeply missed, but never forgotten. Thanks for all the amazing memories.
Thank you, Reese. Can I have a motion to move out of committee of the whole?
I'd like to make a motion to move out of this committee of the whole.
Second, please.
Second.
Any new business? None?
The only thing I forgot to bring up also is that we did get the funding to actually finish paving the rest of Idita, so that is an amazing.
So the walkway is, will all of them be paved?
All of the ending loop over by the sled hill, all the way around back in to where the pond is. So yeah, pretty
Great,
much
great.
everything will be
Because
done.
that'll keep a lot of that dust down going through the park.
And it'll make it more usable for people in wheelchairs and other things as
Yes.
well, which is awesome.
Yep. Thank you.
One observation I did notice with the music in the parks and the 4th of July thing is we're outgrowing our parking lots finally. I was amazed because going down, the park has gotten to a point where it's amazing. The capability and the amount of people that the park sees is really crazy. So definitely something that we'll have to take into consideration as the Mayor's Picnic and stuff continues to grow. So we'll almost have to have like a drop-off zone for certain people, just because it's crazy how many people we've seen not only parking on the far side and walking all the way down, but yeah, definitely we've outgrown our park a lot in that aspect. So.
There were people coming from the middle school all the way down to that.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Any audience comments? Staff and commission comments?
I just wanted to kind of clarify. So the Matthews were a family that have given a lot to this commission, actually. They were a big part of Parks and Recreation. So definitely pretty crazy, because one of those people that you could went to and she made it happen for you. Talking to her grandkids, one thing that they really wanted me to make sure we all realized was Joan might have been a talker at one point, but she was a doer. She really kind of got stuff done, and one thing that she wanted to kind of pass on to our committee and Wasilla, I should say, is we're a place of doers. We've always been people that have achieved stuff and done it. So yeah, it's great to hear, not only from the financial side, watching the music in the park and watching the 4th of July stuff, we've seen a lot of doings and we've seen a lot of growth. Like I said, with the maintenance and seeing a park be stained that I haven't seen stained in a long time. It's amazing seeing the growth in our community right now. So again, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's really put their time in, put their effort, put their skin in. You're the reason we're doing it. So keep on going, guys.
So Joan Matthews was a Parks and Rec commissioner. She joined shortly after, I believe, Dave. And we were talking earlier about, cleanup days and revising things along the way. At some point, we didn't have any cleanup days, and at some point, every other community in the borough was advertising their cleanup days and their community support. And here's Wasilla, who, by the way, has more going on than most, and we had nothing. So a few of us got together, and Tammy being our contact person, of course, and got it going with, commissioners applying to the borough for support, and aligning planets and getting donations and doing all of that. And I'm glad now that the city park staff and others are hanging up the signs for cleanup days, because Joan and I did that. We went and got bungee cords, and I remember her climbing around the front of the museum to strap up the signs because nobody else was going to do it. So yeah, she was mostly a go-getter and a doer, and you don't say no, you just figure it out. So she will be missed. And the 4th of July parade was great. Our family kind of sat towards the end because we were late getting there, but it was the event. On social media, I don't do a lot of that, but everybody was saying the only event going on is in Wasilla. So everybody under the sun that wanted to do something on the 4th of July and get out was here. I ran across, just listening to people here and there. People don't know where to park when they come in. So, in the future, that might be a good thing, just to list where there's extra parking in walkable areas, because, down towards the cars direction, people know where the parking lots are and where some street parking is. But on the other end of town, on the west side of town, some people don't know where to go. But I think there's a lot more empty slots that way, but I can see it as an event that just keeps growing with the Mayor's Picnic and all of the activities afterwards. But thank you for all the volunteers. The parks are looking great. And I know it's very hard to get volunteers. It seems like during and after COVID, people are just very reluctant to step out of the box. So it's just going to take a while to get people back into that comfort zone again. But just as long as we keep programs moving forward. Thank you for all your hard work.
One thing is, it's nice to hear, especially with the maintenance, it sounds like we're getting a lot of newer up-and-coming people that are coming up and kind of making it happen. So we're at that point, guys. We're there and there, and we're getting those people that will hopefully not only be here for this summer, but the next summer, and they're just going to get better and better for us. So.
quick comment to add. Kind of a big part of what you're experiencing or you're hearing people experience has been really strong support from the city council when we're presenting these budgets and ideas, and the mayor saying to me, Scott, do what you think is right, let's make it happen, let's keep making things better. So through the mayor and the council, again, we have the support to do it and do it well. And I think this year's 4th of July day, the whole day, is a great reflection of that. And as you can see in the budget, a lot of support for doing these kind of great community events that bring people around so they can see how awesome City of Wasilla is, our parks are. And so, yeah, I've been getting great support from the mayor and the council.
One last note, Dave Tuttle said to apologize for not making it here tonight, and he has a new granddaughter born on the 4th of July. So he is currently in Nebraska.
So we get blown off for grandkids is how it works. I see how it is. I see how it is.
So Tammy, our next meeting is,
September 13th.
and is it here or at the Menard? It says on the Menard on the.
Oh, it's here.
So our next meeting is September 13th at City Hall, and not what's listed on your page. Any last comments? And the meeting's over at 6:37.
67-year-old guy's birthday now. My wife's dad's birthday, so yeah. I don't know what you get for your 67th.
I mean, every 4